What's up, gang? This is Mike with MrNoFluff.com, and I'm excited to share with you this week's um, news about stocks, Bitcoin, real estate, and gold and silver. But before I do that, I want to tell you that you're beautiful. I want to tell you that you're powerful. I want to tell you that you can be your dreams. I want to tell you that you don't need a banker. You don't need some kind of FICO score. You don't need a pile full of fiat fake dollars. Why do you not need any of those things? Because you're more powerful than you can imagine. What you have between your ears, what's working. Imagine right now your heart works 7 days a week, every day for the past how long you've been alive. Okay, think about that. That's some magic there, man. Right? Now think about that every living animal can build their own home without a college degree, from the squirrel to the rabbit to the bird. So we're conditioned and trained to think that we have so much to lax, but that's not the case. That's not the case, and that's why I'm starting my channel to help you realize that you don't need a pile of money. All you need is creativity. You don't need some kind of hard money lending. You don't need some kind of credit, revolving credit, home equity loan. You don't need any of that stuff. All you need is courage to be your dreams. Okay? And that's it. And creativity. The rest, the moons and the stars will line up for you once you start your journey. So let me say that again. The moons and the stars will line up for you once you start on your journey. And you have to be courageous to be able to start on your journey, which is the hardest thing. Anyways, I love you guys a lot. Thanks for being here. So let's get started, guys. Today, Dow Jones is up 434 points. Okay. Yesterday it was down, and the past 3 months has been down. And now, one thing I want to help you guys realize is that we are having historical highs, historical events happening. Like on Christmas Eve, we had the biggest since God knows when, etc. So what does this mean? Well, since we are having historical events back to back happening, in my opinion, we're going to have historical depression coming. Does that make sense? And it may not be today or tomorrow, but end of the day, it's going to catch up to us because the whole system is, in a sense, rigged. What do I mean? Well, someone's printing money. You and most people are working for their money. Then the people that are printing the money will give their friends and corporations that debt easy. Why? So they can grow artificially, even though they don't have a good system. For example, GMC, for example, Ford, they don't have good products, but they have all this dealerships and franchisees and growing location and factories, etc. Right? It wasn't because they had good products, because easy lending, cheesy lending, fake money lending, which allowed expansion. But it wasn't expansion because of, you know, good products or good systems or services, etc. It was all, a mirage. And so that's what's happening in the stock market right now, is that most of these big corporations are just being able to just get easy money. And unlike the last crash where it was subprime lenders, borrowers that were not highly educated, not all of them, but just to summarize it, didn't have great credit. They're the one that got on the massive debt, right? Now this time it's the corporations that are getting in the massive debts, but it's not really on their back because they have nothing to lose, okay? Um, the whole business is a shenanigan because it's not successful because they have great marketing, great products. I mean, once they get the money, then they could do anything in a sense besides make the good product, the services, the core. The marketing, the copying, they do great at it, but core is no good. Okay? And at the end of the day, it catches up with them. So today, the stock market is high. Yesterday, it was like this. And so it's like a pendulum. We live in a world of dualities. It can't be left without right. It can't be black without white. And so it's just swinging. And now it's swinging just dangerously, okay? Imagine if you were on a ship And if you're on a ship, you don't know anything about sailing, you've never been even on a boat. Would you prefer to the waters to be smooth sailing, or do you want the waves to be going like this on a daily? You know, I'm like every minute. Like, which one do you want? Which one would you get more scared of? Right. So that's the point we're in right now. But many people don't even follow it. They're not as smart as you guys watching. They don't even know what's going on. They think, hey, my custodian or whoever is managing my money, they're taking care of it. They're doing better than I can do for myself because I rather watch TV or go to dinner instead of invest it in my brain so I could be the captain of my own ship. I'll just defer that. I just give it to someone else to do it. Okay. And so these types of people are not even paying attention what's going on. They're like, kind of like on that sinking ship. I forgot the name of the story, Titanic. Um, and they're just partying, drinking. They don't even know what's going on, guys. All right. So the stocks are just like this. And if you were on a ship, would you just think about it? Even if you don't know anything about ships, you've never been in the ocean, just imagine. Do you want to be on a ship that the water is still, or do you want to be on a ship that the waves is just constantly like this? Which one do you want? Okay. Let me know what's right now. Okay. And the clouds are very dark. Why is the clouds dark? Well, there's massive amount of debt everywhere, from corporations, the federal government, state, and the actual people, not only in America, not only in Canada, not only in Australia, not only in France, not only in Great Britain, not only in Germany. I mean, I think the list will go on and on and on, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so that's where we are. We're in waters, and great opportunities upon us. Great opportunity is upon us. Why do I say it's great opportunity upon us? Okay, because this is a great opportunity to start businesses that caters to this crash. For example, some of that stuff is like short sales, loan modifications, okay, credit repair, etc. And at the same time, it's a great opportunity if you're a real estate investor because you can go buy properties, okay, through loan modification or short sales, or even at a deep discount. Or the way I like to do it is what's called seller financing, where the seller becomes my bank. Okay, so great opportunities is upon us because I'm going to be able to find, and what I teach my students and totally for free on my blog is how to find motivated sellers and market to them, because there's going to be a big herd coming this way soon. Okay, and even if you don't have great skills, it's easy to catch one of these motivated sellers because there's going to be so many of them everywhere. Okay. Now, before we go to the other points, I also want to talk about, I think that this crash that's going to be happening is not going to be the people defaulting on their mortgages like the last crash, but it's going to be happening, or bankers. I think it's going to be happening because businesses are going to default on their debt, and then will trickle it down to possibility people can't pay their mortgages. Okay, if it's not an external force, because it can be easily external force like the bank in Germany that is barely surviving. All right, so that's what we are with the market. Now let's talk about where cryptocurrencies are. Um, in the past few days, Bitcoin has been getting beat up, but today it's on a recovery coming up. Okay, now I personally favor Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies because I don't like banks, and I don't like them controlling and charging me and risking my money to go gamble in derivatives and etc. I don't want to do that because you know most people don't know is when you put your money at the bank, first, it's not your money anymore, and two, you're not even a secure creditor. Okay, that's the craziest thing. So they take your money and they lend it out, which you used to think, but more now they go and gamble with it in the stock market and other things that you and I can't understand. And so that's not cool. They're making money off our money. I'm okay with that, but if they had our money, but if you try to go to the bank and withdraw a large sum of money, there's a good chance the bank's going to say no, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so the reason I like cryptocurrencies is because it eliminates the bankers. Okay, which is power to you and me versus the banks. And in my opinion, cryptos like Bitcoins and other ones are, especially Bitcoin, I believe that's going to go places. Not because of the price of today, because the technology underneath it, what's happening right now. Okay, uh, yeah, a lot of different Bitcoins. I don't like XRP, Dean. Thanks for leaving that comment. And the reason is that's the banker coin. I'm trying to stay away from that. All right. Also, Dean messaged me saying that, hey, check out gold. Gold went up to 1325. And yeah, I looked at gold right now. I'm looking at it right now. It came down a little bit, but it's at 1318. So what does that mean? Well, in my opinion, this is not financial advice, that in this upcoming crash, gold and Bitcoins are eventually going to rocket. Gold before Bitcoins, okay? I think for Bitcoins, it's going to go down more and then it's going to shoot up, because when the market crashes hard, people are going to be getting scared and they're even going to uh, get out of the cryptocurrencies too. But then I think that people realize that they can't trust bankers anymore, because they've been creating these asset bubbles, they're creating inflation, not only in one region but all over the world, and they're constantly making everyone work and work and work, because they're degrading their money through printing, okay, diluting their buying power through printing, which is called inflation. Okay, so that's my take on cryptos. My take on gold is that I'm very bullish. I started buying gold in 2015, right at the end. 2016, it was 11.25 an ounce, and today, as I'm speaking to you, it's 13.18. So um, I have gained. Now there was a guy that was saying on Facebook that, newsflash, uh, gold hasn't done anything in 5 years. Well, you know, absolutely hasn't done anything in 5 years. But one, I only got into it when it crashed down to 11.19, 11.20, and I started buying. Okay, so for me, it's actually gone up. But more importantly, two, okay, it hasn't done anything because we've been in bubbles, and the bubbles are about to bust. My point exactly. And when they bust, that's why price shoots up. I mean, just in the past 2 days, gold has gone up significantly. Okay, so see, if you're going to study history, you got to go far enough. If you just go 5 years, then nothing. But if you got to keep going further and further, and you have to understand that printing money, what does printing money mean? When they're just printing money and you're working and you have less buying power, what does that really mean to you week, year after year? Okay, if you understand that, then you understand, hey, that if you have the money in your banking account, you're losing money. If you have your money into gold, that by inflation, the money, the value is going up, even though gold is gold. I mean, an ounce of gold costs exactly the same. Doesn't matter if you're buying from India, where you have to put $1 to get 50 or 60 rupees, or if you're buying it from Iran, where they have massive inflation right now thanks to the tariffs and people are starving. Okay, but whatever it's going to cost you to get an ounce of gold in Iran will be the exact value in all the other countries. Okay, it doesn't matter what currency system they name it, if it's yuan, if it's rupees, if it's pesos. Okay, so think about that. So gold is always going to have its own value, and all the other currencies are dancing around it. Okay, so that's my point that I'm making to you guys. Now, what do I think real estate is going? Let me know. Let me, guys, you let me know what you think about where you think real estate is going. Do you think it's going up? Do you think it's going to be coming down? I'd like to hear your question. Oh, yeah, Dean, that's a good one about Venezuela. Okay, um, for many of you probably don't know that Venezuela tried to take their money or their gold from the Bank of England, and they wouldn't give their money up. They wouldn't give their riches up. Now, I'm not saying I side with the president of Venezuela or not. I'm being neutral. I'm just reporting to you. This is why I don't trust bankers, okay? Because if you put your money in with the bank, they have an option. I want to give it back to you. And a great example is Venezuela. And guess what? When multiple countries start seeing that their possibility of getting their money freezed by bankers, then they may get into Bitcoins. which is going to skyrocket the price of Bitcoins like into I can't even forecast it, but it's not going to be $10,000. I'm saying millions for just one. Think about if countries start buying into it, because they don't want to store their stuff at some other country. Okay, and what's crazy is these yeah, Bank of England. What's crazy is thanks to Bank of England or any other bank, when you put your money into it. That's a good question. Someone asked that, why wouldn't the banks get into Bitcoins? Man, there already are. There already are. Like if you just sit there and study, like Fidelity has been mining Bitcoins for a few years already. Okay, for the Nasdaq, the Nasdaq company called ICE, they're creating a revolutionary way to have Bitcoin settlements where anyone can get into Bitcoins, kind of like the stock market. Okay, so the top companies are getting to it. Like Bank of America has so many patents on blockchains. So they're the owners get on TV and say, "Hey, here," but they're doing this. Okay, they're not telling you what they're doing. I mean, it's not in their best interest. In my opinion, the bankers want to enslave us, um, and they already are. But think about how many people there is, and if we all give them just $1, how much money do the bankers make? A lot, right? So so think about that. The bankers don't even have their own money. Supposedly, they're taking your deposits and reinvesting it, right? By giving people loans, but they're invested in other places, things that you and I can't really understand. Okay, so yeah, I believe that bankers are already into it. That's why there's so many, like Fidelity's about to come with their own little custody where they're gonna hold, big people's monies for them because people don't want to lose their bitcoins or cryptos in hardwood wallets or paper wallets or because they have so much. So these big guys are already into it, but the leaders come online and say, hey, no, they're not. We don't like this stuff, and we'll fire anyone that gets a job with us that does this stuff. But in the back, they're doing it. They're buying this stuff, they're mining this stuff, and they're creating technologies. We got another question. I didn't understand your question 100%. The question was, what is something that's supposed to be fighting the bankers become bullish? Okay, because of the freedom that it brings to people. And that's the simple thing. Like the reason I'm into Bitcoins is not that I'm going to make a lot of money, which is the side effect. Okay? Uh, I'm into Bitcoins because it's a different way of thinking. Okay, it's a whole different way of doing business where you don't rely on a third party for permissions. Like, can I get my money? Can I write a check? Okay, you're in total control, and it's going to eliminate a lot of middlemen, like in the real estate business, the title companies, the escrow companies. I don't know if you guys ever close a real estate deal. You pay these people thousands of thousands of thousands of dollars to do nothing for you in a sense, because when they provide title policy, man, it's most of these homes are cookie cutters and there's no problems, but they're charging all this title policy insurance. And when they're drafted up, the deed, the notes, it's all very, very simple that blockchain and smart contracts is going to eliminate, it's going to solve those things for us. So people will just say, okay, hey, I'm buying a house from A from B, and then the smart contract does that. It already knows it has a clean title and that you don't have to have a middleman that you have to insure and trust. They look to the title policy, make sure there's no clouds, etc. It already knows. It already knows. Like just like if you log in with a password and it's wrong, it already knows instantly. No, this is not it. So it will have that information for you. So it's going to cut out a lot of the middleman. And now some of the middlemen are trying to enslave us like bankers. Like they take our money They invest it, supposedly gamble with it, and they don't give us any money as interest. It's just going down, down, down. But they turn around and interest other people. Plus, they invest that, get huge returns. And guess what? If their investment goes great, we don't hear about it. If their investment goes to hell, right? Then guess what? We get to bail them out. That's crazy, right? Then we have to bail them out. How do I know? Please look back to 2006, 2007, 2008 when the crash happened. Who do we have to go and bail out? Okay, so that's the thing, and that's why I invest into bitcoins and cryptocurrencies. Not because I'm gonna make a lot of money, which, in my opinion, it's not financial advice. I believe I will, but that's not the reason I got into it. I got into it so my kid will have freedom, so she has never have to beg a banker, hey, can I be my dreams? And do I have to write a business plan and borrow some money and to get into debt? I don't want that. And that's what banking does, because even if you have just a little amount of money, for example, if the minimum wage was $1, but there was not inflation, and your dollar could buy what it used to buy 50 years ago, 60 years ago, which would be a lot of stuff. So we don't need more higher minimum wage, okay? What we need is less printing money, because the minimum wage could stay where it is. And if there was not more dilution of the money or your buying power, then it wouldn't matter if you're making $1 an hour or if you're making $33 an hour. Like right now, I mean, it will make it different if the prices, then I keep diluting it, right? If the money is constant and you're making $1 versus another guy who makes 33, then yes. But if the same worker over time is now making 33, it's not like they're making more money. They're fooling you. They're just giving you, saying, I'm giving you 33 per hour. However, that $33 still buys only whatever $1 bought. And that's the thing that most people don't understand. Like people in France, they're doing the yellow vest, they're protesting. But guess what? Some of them got it right. They're saying, hey, we're going to go take our money out of the bank. Or we're going to run on the bank. Now, that would cripple the system instantly, for sure. That is smart. But the other stuff, like go violence or, give us more minimum wage, then those are not going to work, right? I mean, just because they want more minimum wage, it's the same thing. If it was like $7, then it became $15, then it became $30, it doesn't matter. The more the minimum wage goes up, the more inflation instantly kicks in. So they're like, you can't get away from that inflation. So we don't want the inflation. We rather have no printing of the money and minimum wage stay where it is or even go down, because that $1 will buy a lot more at 33 when they're printing so much money. Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, which is just printing of the money, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what people don't understand, that, hey, everyone thinks it's normal. Hey man, it's okay, dude. Price of milk keeps going up. It's okay, right? But it's not okay, because, and milk, to generate that kind of milk took a certain amount of energy. The energy level for that cow didn't go up anymore, right? The farmer didn't have to do any extra work. Actually, the work they got to do is less now, because they have automation systems to milk the cow. So why does the price keep going up? Please think about what I just said, all right? So where are we at? Dean says he just wants a Porsche 911. Well, Dean, I believe that you're going to get it, man, because if you guys don't know, Dean is one of those hustler sales guys that is a pit bull, and he never stops, and he consistently has success. He is exactly me when I was in high school, because I would never take no for an answer. So the way I met Dean is because he kept messaging me, and I would ignore him. He would keep messaging me and keep messaging me, and I would ignore him. And I keep messaging me and I would ignore him, right? And hey, this is exactly the way I was when I was starting up with $100 living out of my car out of college, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I was so persistent that my closing ratio was 9 out of 10. Every lead that came in, I closed 9 out of 10. It did not matter. Every day, all day. Okay, and today I don't even sell. We don't even have a sales team, because my whole philosophy has changed. That because I work with people and I want them to be successful, and if they're not ready to make a decision themselves, they need a salesperson to groom them or pull them or persuade them, then their odds of success is very slim or zero in my book. Where if you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to chase your dreams, you got to be able to leap yourself. Okay, you don't need, if someone's pushing you or pulling you or winging something shiny in front of you for you to come in, then guys understand that you're about to get slaughtered. Please understand that. Okay? But if you're willing to leap on yourself and you're scared, you don't know if you're going to be able to smush on the ground, you're not sure if you're going to be able to pay your bills, you're not sure what's going to happen, but you're still willing to leap, like Dean says, you have the balls to leap, then you will be successful. If you're persistent like Dean, like this guy just doesn't stop, just like me. Now I'm not like that anymore. Right? I'm very passive, and I don't sell people. I provide value. Some people use me, other people I don't. I wish them the very, very best. Some people get my stuff and make a lot of money totally for free. I wish them the very, very best. So whatever goes out comes back in. I realize that, and I don't have to be so hungry. Besides, I'm a minimalist, guys. I only have 4 pair of pants. Yeah, 4 pair of pants. Right? But think about what I just said. All my clothes will fit into a backpack. I let go of everything I own. I give to the homeless people, which means businesses that I own for 14, 15 years, just let it go. Right? Real estate company, rentals, give all my stuff away to homeless people. Because I realized that materialism and accumulation is never ever gonna, free me. I'm constantly had a cancer of getting more and more and more. And no matter what mountain I went up to, I wanted to have more. And guess what? The other thing was that if I had more than you, then I felt really good. And man, and today that's disgusting. Today I want to help you to have more than me. I don't even want that stuff. I just want to help you because that's the purpose of life, which makes me happy. Where I'm putting that kind of energy out there. Before it was self-centered consumption. I never sold stuff. I had my own businesses, and we provided great service. But I just made a lot of money from it, and I knew how to start businesses with no money, no debt, no credit, just leap and then do it. And that's what I teach my students, is just to leap. And the reason we don't have to sell people is because we want you to leap. Okay, and if you can leap on your own, your odds are tremendously greater. So again, no one out there is doing that, right? And I don't care to be follow the crowd or the sheep. I don't care anything about that. My job is to don't have a job. I don't have a job, right? What I love to do is help you guys, and guess what? I'm doing that every day. Right? I'm doing that. I'm being my dreams every day. I let go of everything. I went homeless for 2 years. Now I'm my dreams. I was my dreams before, but my dreams included making a lot of money and having a lot of people working for me and me working all the time and just consuming. Now I realize I don't need that stuff, right? And my only mission, I'm already it. I'm already my mission. I don't have a goal. I'm already it. I'm living. I'm alive. Every day I'm alive. I hold my baby today. We were just dancing, man. And I looked up in the sky and I was like, man, I am so rich. I could just. Everyone's working, but I'm just holding her, closing my eyes, playing a little. She says "Ninai Ninai," which means dancing in Persian, and I'm thinking, man, I am so rich. I mean, it almost makes me cry. And so that's what I'm talking about, where you could just be where you are, wherever you are, and be so happy, because material things are nothing. It's a mirage. What's most valued from you is being robbed by bankers, because you constantly have to work. They're printing it on a press machine. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. If you like these videos, click the thumb up and share it. Peace. I'll see you later.